Welcome to the Life of Logos podcast.
Hey y'all, this is Colin from the Life of Logos podcast. Pre-recording a recording that I'm going to be doing with Kenny here in just a couple minutes. He's on the way over. I want to share a couple thoughts with you before I start getting my brother involved. I just got back from going home, and when I was at home, I was able to meet my nephew for the first time. He's 7 months old, and he is loud and beautiful and playful, and man, I didn't get it. And when I say I didn't get it, there was certain things that came to light in meeting this nephew. Let me roll back, give you a backstory. I happened to fly home twice this week. I flew home, and in acknowledging that I was home, I flew home and I was transitioning from one airport to the next, so my layover was in my home city. My parents drove out and they brought me some food, and they were so excited to just spend a few minutes with me. And I think we were able to we weren't even able to leave the airport. We just left the terminal, got in the car, talked for maybe 20 minutes, and then got back in the airport and left. And I meant the world to them. And it meant the world to me for actually being able to recognize and receive the love that they were so eager to pour out. They didn't have to do that. Truthfully, they spent more time getting the food, driving to the airport, and than they did being at the airport before they even went back home. But they were so excited to do it. I think there's a certain type of love and that might be part of the problem that I'm analyzing as I am recognizing so many flaws within society. And it's not that I'm recognizing flaws for the sport of recognizing flaws. I'm recognizing these things and their causes so that we can find a way to fix them. So we can right the things that are wrong. And what I'm realizing is I may very well have only turned out the way that I am because my parents loved me so much. And I may not have gotten it when I was younger, and I may have not gotten it just recently because I recently separated from the Air Force. And I love that I got the opportunity to serve my country. I love the people I got to serve with by and large. But damn if that didn't do a number on my mental health. I did not realize how low I was until I finally got to the surface of the water. I did not realize how low and how deep in the ocean I was, how badly I was drowning until I got a breath of fresh air. And when I got that breath of fresh air, everything changed. And it seems to be like those things are changing again. And I had to get out of that place from under that wet, depressive blanket just to get to the point where I could feel. And then when I got to the point where I was barely able to feel, I got to see how much my parents cared about me. That was Monday. And it takes a lot to keep it together. Emotionally, stoically, dry eye, smile on your face. When you realize the depth of that love, how eager they were. I probably didn't even smell good or nothing. And then I went on my way, came back through, ended up back here, and going home. Again, same weekend. Following week, because my nephew was there. My older brother happened to be going to a wedding at the time, and he was leaving the baby with my parents. I decided to slide in just so I can meet the baby. And when I came in, the baby locked on me. Just clocked me as I was walking around the room. And as soon as I get my hands on him, it was like we were joined with glue. He was just there, just on me. And when he would cry, he would reach for me. I just met this baby. God, I love that baby so much. It got to the point where it hurt to leave him. A baby. The baby doesn't do anything. He eats, he sleeps, he cries, he poops. That's it. He's not offering me intellectual wisdom. He's not giving me life advice or helping my dreams come true. None of that. He was just there. And there's something about him just being there that inspired me so much to want to be a better man. right? I came back and immediately changed my diet. I cleaned my apartment. I got everything in order because there's something about having this child that is my brother's son that gives me so much hope for the future. Gives me a vessel to pour so much love into. And he doesn't even know. I don't even think he'll remember this weekend. But I will. I don't know that I'll ever be the same after this weekend. I think adults need babies just as much as babies need adults, if not more so. Because then when an adult loves a baby, they'll finally begin to understand how they are loved. And within a very short couple of days, I got to just get a glimpse on how much my parents loved me and get just a hint of a feeling, just a whiff on both sides, and a whiff of how much I could love this child. And he's not even my son. He's my nephew. And I'll do anything for that kid. I couldn't imagine the depth of emotion that I would feel if he were my son. I made it back yesterday, and then today I was doing all sorts of stuff. You see my arm waving, I got blood work done. Donation to the Red Cross. Sponsor us. And I was leaving the Red Cross in my thoughts, as one does after donating plasma and platelets. You're always in your thoughts afterwards because you're giving your blood, in essence, as though that someone else can live. And I was just hit with this overwhelming sense of sadness. And it wasn't a sadness like something is wrong and it needs to be fixed. It was a sadness that I delighted in having. Because for the first time, perhaps in a long time, I was confronted with the reality that I'm here, my parents are there, the baby's in a different place, and we're all disjunctured, but we're all so connected. And when we're in each other's presence, it's you belong. And with that, as time goes on, eventually, time's going to run out. I lost my grandpa and my cousin Javasi this year. And seeing the whole thing, the essence of life, literally a beginning and an ending, so close. An ending, my grandpa was 75. He was grown. He was big age grown. Javasi was 24. Xavier's only 7 months. And to see life on this grand conveyor belt, enriched in meaning, and depth, and joys, and sorrows, and tragedies, and victories, it's humbling. It's humbling to say the least. And I am sad, but I don't get as much time with my parents, or with Xavier, or my brothers, nearly as much as I want. I'm sad that I know at some point all of this is going to come to an end. And I'm happy to be sad. Because for the first time in a long time, I'm not numb. And I had to become numb in order to just make it day to day. Putting on this face of what the Air Force and the government wanted me to be, the man who I am not. I'm happy to be sad. Melancholy, I think is the word for that. I'm taking delight in this sadness because that means in this sadness and in this emotional pain and discomfort, I am relearning what it means to be alive. To be a part of this grand universe and this cycle of highs and lows and joys. I'm here. And that's a blessing. And there will be pain. And there will be joy. And it is absolutely worth it. Next time y'all hear from me, Kenny will be here. It'll probably be a lot less deep and a lot more jokes. But until then, I think that's all I gotta say. No, it's not. Here's the last part. Here's your PS. I think that when society has devolved into wherever we are now, a state of destitution, let's say that, we are left to the belief that the institution has to be run on power. Put that more simply, I had to think through that one. Because stuff is destitute, and we are morally destitute right now, we have fallen back to hierarchies that are purely based on power, which should make sense. Because if you can't trust people, you got to coerce them in order to do what needs to be done by your own metric. And then might makes right. Because we're so destitute, because we threw away morality, because we lost the beauty of life. And then you think about the beauty of life and all that is trust, connection, intimacy, vulnerability, all of those things are rooted in belonging. We lost our sense of belonging, how we belong to each other and whom we belong to. And I don't think that's any different in a lot of ways from the death of God. Because if you kill God, ontologically speaking, what you're really doing is removing the creator, the source of purpose, the storyteller, the great narrator from your life. You lose the purpose, we lost the belonging. When we lost the belonging, we lost our trust. And if things fell apart into this nihilistic state where power is the only thing that matters, and that is not the way that it's supposed to be. And for a week, I got to see the other side. And if I seem quiet or I seem humbled, I really am. I think what the feeling I would describe is awe. I'm in awe of what could be when we get back to trust and belonging and vulnerability and connectedness and all of these beautiful things. And when those things have taken the place in their rightful place, power then becomes irrelevant. And that is a beautiful place to be. And I don't know what will become of that. I can only imagine. But when it does come, we will all be in awe together. I think that's the end. So until next time, I'm Colin. This is Life of Logos. We'll talk to you next time.